phenomenal, just a phenom. He was just greatness personified. I mean, this guy did things that we've never imagined could be done. I mean, his speed, catching a running back, a quality all-pro running back from the backside, his power, running over 300-pound offensive linemen as if though they were figurines, intimidating quarterbacks to the point where, they wouldn't call signals until they found out where it was 56. He rewrote the entire book, and this guy never let up.
The things that he did, you can't draw those things up. He was born to be an outside rusher. He was special, he was unique, he had speed.
Son, I gotta do better than this.
He was a badass. He was a badass.
He was the guy as a kid, like, if you were playing defense, you wanted to be Lawrence Taylor. And he was exciting and electric, and I've seen the hits that he's put on some of these quarterbacks, and it hurts me to watch it.
I don't think I've ever seen a more relentless player, too, than Lawrence. There was a game in New Orleans where he separated his shoulder and was fitted with a harness, continued to play, brought the quarterback down from behind on a huge play. It was just, you don't see things like that in today's game, but he was just a warrior, and his will was, I think, second to none.
Lawrence Taylor was a unanimous All-American linebacker and the ACC Player of the Year in 1980 at the University of North Carolina. And the Giants selected him with the number 2 overall pick in the 1981 NFL Draft.
I was drafted by New York, and I tell you, it didn't take long for me to fit in here and really start to embrace the guys and enjoy the time I spent here.
First day of practice, we're out on the field and we're going through drills. And ball snaps, he runs in and he puts on some move that I'd never seen before.
Lawrence made about 7, 8 tackles, just blew in there, couldn't block them, and we all walked off the field saying, "Oh my God, this guy's going to be a force." And I remember sitting in a staff meeting, and Coach Parcells, who was the defensive coordinator, said, "Well, I think we might want to go ahead and just not start him and just let him watch the game for a quarter and let it go, and then put him in there." And Coach Perkins looked at him and said, "You know what? Just get him in there. He's our best player." And he was right. And Lawrence was ready to play from day one.
LT would make an immediate impact, taking the league by storm and terrorizing opposing offenses.
On the football field, I felt that my level of play or my ability was pretty far up there. And the things that I could do, they couldn't do. It's something when you know that they can't do what you do.
Lawrence would be named Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he would form a special bond with then Giants defensive coordinator Bill Parcells.
Well, that's my guy, we came together as an assistant, and he was a young draft choice and catalytic player, dynamic, easy to coach. That was the great thing about Lawrence. You teach him something, he can take it right with him. Your job when you get a player like that is to let the talent flourish.
Be more aggressive on that special now. They'll come back with that. That slant counter there.
Yeah.
Kick it over.
I want to show how to play that.
Yeah.
Kick it over, Lawrence. Kick it over.
Yeah.
I would always cause something to happen, either a fumble or a sack or something. And Bill said, "We don't even have that defense." I said, "Well, you better put it in on Monday because it's a doozy."
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs and have some fun.
I think the enthusiasm I brought to the New York Giants, and I played at a high level, and the guys around me started to fall into that.
Taylor immediately became the heart of a ferocious Giants defense. And he, along with fellow linebackers Brian Kelly, Brad Van Pelt, and Harry Carson, formed a frightening unit that garnered an even scarier nickname, the Crunch Bunch.
The core of our defense were our linebackers, and it became exciting and fun to just match my talent with these guys. And we made each other better, just made each other better.
LT and the Giants would head into the final game of the 1981 regular season, needing a win against the Dallas Cowboys for their first playoff berth in 18 years.
Here we go. Here comes the snap. Here's the boot. It looks good. The Giants win.
The win earned the Giants their first playoff appearance since 1963. In the 1981 wild-card playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
They had beat us 11 times in a row, and we made it a point that they weren't going to beat us more that year. And then that winning attitude, that work ethic, people started believing in themselves. I think we made a statement there that we weren't going to be the same New York Giants. This is a new crew in town.
In 1982, Lawrence Taylor would have to fight through a nagging leg injury. And as the Giants hobbled into the Silverdome on Thanksgiving looking for their first win of the season, LT would put the team on his shoulders.
I did a lot of good things in that game. Had some sacks, had some good hits, some caused fumbles. Personally, it was a good game for us.
Despite Taylor's dominating performance, the Giants were still facing defeat late in the game with Detroit threatening to score until LT played the hero.
Over pass. He's looking for King, intercepted. He's going to go down the right side. Lawrence down to the 20, 30, down to the 40. He might go all the way. He's going to go in. Hot dog. You're rooting, Dick. Oh, yes, but listen, what an effort.
Following the strike-shortened season of 1982, Bill Parcells would succeed Ray Perkins as the new head coach of the Giants. Big Blue would struggle in Parcells' first year at the helm, and it was clear that some changes needed to be made.
The biggest difference in the team was Phil Simms. He learned what it took to be a top-notch NFL quarterback. Phil became the man on that offense, and that would really change the dynamic of our team.
With Simms in command of the offense and Taylor captaining the defense, the Giants would steadily become a title contender. After upsetting the Rams in the 1984 wild-card game, the Giants traveled to San Francisco. But just as they had done in 1981, they would lose to the eventual Super Bowl champions.
The gap was closing, right? We still took a little whiff in there, but the gap was closing. And then as you know, like then 85 came, and I think 85 was real important for us because we figured out what it took to get to the Super Bowl. You can't just get in the playoffs. You got to have the home field advantage because our biggest asset was our fans in the stands.
For the first time in over 2 decades, the Giants would host a playoff game at home. And they finally hurdled their West Coast nemesis, beating the 49ers in the 1985 NFC wildcard game. But just 1 week later in the next round, the Giants would come up short in Chicago, losing to the Bears in the divisional playoff game.
We learned a lot. It was a learning process. You know, certain things we just couldn't do. But we learned what home field advantage meant after that game. If you want to get to the Super Bowl, you got to come through New York.
Coming off their loss to the Bears in the 1985 playoffs, LT and the Giants were hungry and poised to make a Super Bowl run in 1986.
We had a really good football team. Phil was playing solid. Our defense was impeccable. I mean, our defense was killing.
With LT leading the way, the Giants would quickly rebound and steamroll through the competition.
We was on the verge of losing to Minnesota from 4th and 17 when Bobby made the reception and we went on to win that game. No team in the NFL played with us for the rest of the year. It was like a man playing with boys.
Taylor would have one of the greatest seasons the NFL has ever seen, recording a league-best 20.5 sacks.
I see the game different. I mean, I look at the game in attack mode.
LT was named NFL MVP in 1986, and he's the only defensive player to win the award in the last 52 years.
He was a great competitor. The energy he had drove the team forward, and I'm still looking for that next Lawrence Taylor. I haven't seen that guy.
The Giants' dominant season earned them home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and their first opponent would be the San Francisco 49ers.
That was a good old-fashioned butt whipping right there. And San Francisco came in there. They never had a chance.
in the NFC Championship game, LT and the Giants defense smothered Washington's offense in a 17-0 shutout.
That was the best performance I've ever seen. As far as physical football, you don't get no more physical than that. We allowed ourselves to enjoy that win because when that game was over, the crowd went crazy. Giant fans threw that confetti out there. It was unbelievable.
At Super Bowl XXI in Pasadena, LT and the Giants defense would face their biggest challenge, needing a goal line stand as Denver threatened to score and increase their lead late in the first half.
We said it in the huddle, man. Listen, hey, they do not pass this line, and Harry, George Martin, Leonard Marshall, everybody went in on those plays. And the thing about after that goal line stand and we go into the locker room, we realize we only down 1 point. But just like we do that year, third quarter was our quarter, and we came up and spanked them.
Phil Simms was 22 for 25, throwing for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And throws, end zone, touchdown!
He took control of that offense, and every time he throws a touchdown, I'm out there to congratulate him, because when Phil is on, he's a very, very, very good player.
The Super Bowl champions are the Giants. Everybody's dream in football. That one time you'll be there.
That year, listen, we was truly the best team on the planet, bar none.
Following their victory at Super Bowl XXI, LT and the Giants would have high hopes of returning to the NFL mountaintop. But they would fall short with some disappointing finishes in the late 80s. With the retirement of George Martin and Harry Carson, Lawrence Taylor and Phil Simms had become the elder statesmen of the group.
Lawrence Taylor, the oldest linebacker on the Giants team now. Old guy.
But with their veteran warrior leading the way, the Giants would storm out of the gates in 1990.
Phil was, like I said, he was playing very, very good. He was playing a really good defense, was playing good. But we had to work for every win that we got.
But in Week 15, Phil Simms would go down with a season-ending injury, and backup Jeff Hostetler was thrust into the starting lineup.
When Phil went down, Hostetler came in, and he added another dimension to our offense that nobody had seen. And now, when it's, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, or whatever, he pulled that ball down and run for the first down. And that's what he gave us, that different dimension in the playoffs, that's why we won.
As the postseason got underway, with the mobile Hostetler at quarterback, the Giants would dominate the Bears at home, advancing to the next round versus a familiar foe.
Let's go, here we come, going back to California, guys! Hey, San Francisco, they're back, we're back! They're back!
In the historic 1990 NFC Championship game, LT and the Giants would fight to dethrone the two-time defending Super Bowl champion 49ers.
That game was one of those games they're going to have to scratch and claw to get a yard. And we just out there, we just work it.
That's where to jam on that too, okay? Keep hammering them. Keep hammering those outside receivers.
I could have stayed out there all day. That's the type of physical football you want to play.
LT's relentless pursuit on Joe Montana forced the 49ers quarterback into the oncoming bull rush of Leonard Marshall, resulting in this devastating blow.
Got chased down, finally hit from behind. The ball's loose.
And he really took a shot in that back. Leonard Marshall coming from the backside. Boy, that is a real shot.
Steve Young came in for the 49ers' final drive and needed only 2 first downs to run out the clock. And with their team desperately needing to get the ball back, LT would give the Giants new life.
Hit behind the line of scrimmage, and the Giants have the ball. Lawrence Taylor out of the pack with the ball.
And you knew that the Giants were going for it, and that's what Bill Parcells is saying. Yep, we need it.
Jeff Hostetler marched the Giants downfield, giving Matt Barr the opportunity to kick his 5th field goal of the game.
Giants are trailing by a point. All depends on Matt Barr.
Pat Varner having a great year. No, he's going to make the kick.
Badger on this being screaming. Snap, spot. Kick is away. It's got the distance. It is good. Good.
And the Giants are going to Tampa Bay. It's over for the three-peats. It's over.
So when we win that game, we go straight off the field, straight to Tampa. And that might have been the best plane ride I've been on in a long time. Because I tell you what, we having some fun on that plane, though.
Hey, Tampa down, baby!
Happy New Year, guys. We're going to the show.
At Super Bowl XXV in Tampa, LT and the Giants would face an even greater challenge as they prepared to battle the Buffalo Bills and their vaunted offensive attack.
They were a good team. They were they had a lot of quality players from top to bottom.
Defensive coordinator Bill Belichick had devised a game plan focused on containing the Bills' passing game by allowing Thurman Thomas opportunities to run, a risky scheme to say the least.
Bill made sure that we punished those receivers when they came across. I think the longer the game went on and the more punishment they took, you're getting hit every time you come across the middle or where you go, you're getting hit. You could feel it going out of the sails, man. You could feel it going out of the sails.
Once again, the contest came down to the final seconds, but this time it was the Buffalo Bills kicker who had a chance to win the game.
Here comes number 11, Scott Norwood. He can fire the shot heard round the world now.
I don't know how long this kick is. Ain't no daggone way he's going to make this kick. We played too well to go down like this. And I'm telling you what, when that ball was kicked, I didn't even look up.
No good. Wide right. No good. Giants win. Giants win. Giants have won Super Bowl XXV.
Following that thrilling victory in Super Bowl XXV, LT played 3 more years for the Giants. He announced his retirement after the 1993 season, and he finished his career with 132.5 sacks. In 1994, the organization honored Lawrence by retiring his number 56 jersey in a halftime ceremony in Giants Stadium.
Without you guys, there wouldn't have been a Lawrence Taylor, but there wouldn't have been an LT. Thank you very much.
And in 1999, he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He will go down in the annals of NFL history as arguably the greatest defensive player ever. LT's legend and legacy lives on, and he will always be one of the most beloved heroes in the long line of Giants greats.
I'm very proud of the fact that he was a Giant. He loved being a Giant, and he would have been at the top of every team's list if they're going through the same thing that the Giants are going through now with the 100th anniversary. It's a piece of cake.
Once a Giant, always a Giant. I guess what it means to me is no matter what happens in my life, I'll always have the Giant family and be a part of, because I tell you, being a Giant is pretty good.